Dude, sick car.
Appreciate it.
What can I get started for you?
Hey, what's up guys? It's the Tesla rental guy. Today we have the 2024 Tesla Cybertruck. This is a foundation series, dual motor, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, about 330-ish miles of range, and it looks absolutely amazing. So the first thing, obviously, it has this stainless steel finish. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, and like in concept, it seems pretty cool. You can tell some of the fit and finishes don't fully align. Like right here, this is a pretty good, it's not perfectly set up. It's not flat to it at all. The frunk, like any other EV in the history of cars, has been made with this. It's pretty cool. I mean, the whole front opens up. This is probably one set of golf bags, maybe two, depending on how thin they are, if you don't have your drivers in there. So plenty of space in the front, and you can really see just how this is just literally sealed onto here, which is so crazy. On the inside, this isn't the exoskeleton, but it's just another layer of steel. So super, super unique. No other car on the market set up like this. So we'll get that shut. Super, super cool. So the actual truck itself has these massive off-roading tires from Goodyear. These are actually made specifically for the Cybertruck, as most people probably already know at this point. And this doesn't have any covers on it. So this is the original look. And you can see it says Foundation Series right here. Right away, you're gonna see there's fingerprints on the car. This car was really washed today and it already has fingerprints all over it. It's something you're gonna have to deal with if you're gonna have a stainless steel vehicle like this. The tonneau cover is super, super unique in its own way. You can't actually see out the back because this one's covered. So they give you this very, very small camera, but it has a pretty good sized truck bed. I would say this is pretty standard in terms of if you had an F-150 or a Silverado, and this opens up like that. So this is cool. I mean, this gives you the truck vibes. I mean, you can tell there's some dirt in here. It's been hauling some stuff around, and you can see the glass right here, laminated glass. Just an incredible truck in that regards. I feel like you could, if I was a farmer per se, and I need an electric car, I'm getting this over the F-150 Lightning. I'm getting this over the Silverado, most likely, because this thing's gonna take a lot of beating, and it should be able to hold up on a farm. Or if you're just a city driver, you could have this too. So we're gonna shut this back up, and it looks like you have to hold it. Yeah, so we're right, you can see it feeds through there and it's shutting. That's why when we thought you couldn't see through it, and it's shut. And this does not go back up, it's just a release. So it is 115 degrees out here in Phoenix, Arizona today. So if it feels like I'm trying to not touch the black parts of the car, it's because I'm not trying to have permanent 3rd-degree burns. I mean, as you can tell, it's very minimalistic. The buttons to the door, which most people don't even realize, are right here. And you just grab the handle, so it kind of pops out itself. And here's the back. We have some camo equipment in the truck right now. I feel like every part of this is unique to the Cybertruck. This is completely different. A side pocket than the other car. These are completely different buttons, just everything's brand new about this. I think the white interior is amazing. As people know, though, it gets dirty easily. You can see right here, this car is kept in good shape, and you already have these little blackish stains that build up in the white. You can get that off with boat cleaner on the other cars. I'm sure it's the same with this car. And it just provides ample space. I mean, this is a massive back seat. And overall, I just think this car, I mean, everyone's gonna say it, it's the most unique truck on the road, but I think it's, the most desired truck. When we were driving around, we had so many people like just staring at us or giving us thumbs up. It definitely has the Cybertruck effect still, even 6 months in. My guess is that won't go away anytime soon. This is VIN number 5,000. So that means there's already 5,000 of these guys on the road, and it's still getting quite a bit of attention. So the one thing you'll notice on any car that has this massive plastic trim is that stuff starts happening right here. So this is like micro scratches or something that's brushed against the car. And unfortunately, when you have this type of plastic, it shows up really easily, and it's really, really difficult to get rid of. So not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of all these, like right here, you can see all these micro scratches that are starting to appear on this stainless steel. At some point, I'm sure bodywork people, Tesla, they're gonna get really good at repolishing this off to make sure it doesn't appear all swirly. But I mean, this truck is not that old, and you can already see all these micro scratches as if it's been like that for a while. So we're driving the Tesla Cybertruck. It's actually not my first time in one, but it is my first time driving one, surprisingly enough. I went to this Cybertruck event, and look how tight this is with the Cybertruck. Can't hit the cones, holy cow. I went to the Cybertruck event in Austin, Texas. I was with Jeeves, one of his friends, I believe from either college or high school. And then I was with David, and that was a cool experience. I think I sat in VIN number 1 and VIN number 10 are the two cars that we actually got inside of. This is VIN number, let's see what we're at. So 5,277. So since last November, which is when we were there, basically December 1st, last week of November, they already produced 5,000-ish Cybertrucks. So they're not gonna be as rare on the road as they used to be, but it drives, I mean, it's steering by wire. I might be saying that wrong. This drives very similar to a tractor, I guess, and that's my only comparative from back home if I was mowing the yard and our big John Deere tractor. It's smooth. I mean, this thing's massive. The first thing I didn't realize, and Andrew pointed this out, the back cover, when it's up, I just didn't think about it common sense wise, you can't see out the rear view mirror. So it provides this camera to like basically replace your rear view mirror. I think a better optionality for this would have been how they do it on the BMWs, is you can actually have your mirror, in the Range Rovers, your mirror can just, it just changes settings and it becomes a camera versus an actual reflective mirror. That probably would have made more sense. This doesn't have that option. I don't see any buttons to click on that. So that would be one small change if I was thinking like, it's gonna take me a while to get used to the fact that this is right. My mirror is supposed to be right here. So that was a surprise to me, I guess, when I was first getting in the car. This thing it's massive. And it's exactly how I would imagine it drives. Initial first thoughts. The build quality of this one seems significantly better than the ones we saw at Austin, Texas. I was just looking at the gaps out there. The first ones, as expected. I mean, you're talking the first 10 cars off the lot. Not perfect build quality. This all seems smooth. This is a little holder that comes with the car. It looks like it doesn't sit there perfectly every time. Yeah, no, I mean, it feels like a truck. The back has some stuff in it. We're about to head to a supercharger actually right now, just so I can see the charge rate of this Cybertruck. From there, we're actually gonna do a lap, just see how it drives in the interstate, see how it drives at slow speeds when you're just driving through town, and see if there's any big differences there. I think that's the biggest things we're gonna test out today. This will not be a rental for us, and the big reason for that is if this car would happen to get in an accident that required body repair right now, my estimates is it's gonna take 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months to get fixed. And that's not even including like the insurance debacle of like, what's the car worth? That's because Tesla really just doesn't have the parts right now readily available to be fixing these cars like they do for the Model 3s and Model Ys. So I do see the advantage, the first mover's advantage to renting the car and having, you know, the crazy high price for a $100,000 car on the market. But I also see the risk is if it happens, something happens that go wrong on a trip and your payment is $1,800 a month, and you have to wait 6 months, like, are you gonna make your first $12,000 back of profit before that event potentially happens? For me, it's just not worth the gamble. In the future though, when these cars are mass produced, I think this will be a great car to do not just short-term rentals for, but do long-term leasing to corporations if they don't wanna figure out that stuff, manage those assets for them. And I think it would be a fun Uber car if it can take the miles. So this one is it's a Foundation series, but it is a dual motor. So it just does not have the tri-motor. At first, when they first came out, I thought the Foundation series were only going to be the tri-motor. That's obviously not the case if you follow the Tesla. So when we get to the Tesla Supercharger, we'll start back up, kind of go through some details as the car is charging, and we'll be back in 5 seconds. So before we get to the Supercharger, Andrew and I are going to stop and get some coffee, maybe some food I haven't eaten today, and it's 11:30. We're just going to see if what kind of reaction we get going through a Starbucks line. Something simple. I can imagine most of these people have already seen a bunch of Cybertrucks. It doesn't feel, I don't know if the right word is eye-catchy, but I remember when I first saw the Cybertruck on the road after going to the Cybertruck event, like how cool it was to see one on the road. And I feel like I've seen enough now here in Arizona that it doesn't like fully stand out to me. So we're just gonna check it out really fast. We're actually gonna be getting some coffee and just kind of see if anyone says anything. It's like, what kind of car is that? And see if anyone actually doesn't know what it is or what kind of reactions we might get. And this drive-through is tight, holy cow.
Dude, sick car.
Appreciate it.
What can I get started for you?
We're gonna get an iced caramel macchiato. Well, somehow the guy through the board already said sick car, so mission success, and we have it. Oh, we're gonna make this turn. Truck is massive. It's hard to get through this drive-thru in this guy.
I bet, dude. This is the first one I've seen like up close. It's so crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen them from like afar, like driving around, but like never like this close.
We were just talking about that. We were figuring out if there's gonna be like, if everyone's seen one at this point or not.
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds ago, that was our conversation. It's just massive. It's hard to go through the drive-thru.
I bet.
And I will say, if we take the R8 out, you don't get any type of reaction at all. Nobody cares about an Audi R8. Cybertruck apparently still gets a lot of reactions. All right, guys, we just plugged in the Cybertruck. We've probably been driving for 20 minutes?
30 minutes.
One-time charge. We're just gonna see here what the max charge rate is. You're thinking 101 kilowatts. We're about 70%. It's pretty competitive. It's really, really hot right now in Arizona. My guess is this is gonna drop off like a rock here in a second. So a couple things we noticed really quickly, and then we had to like just learn as a natural like driving. One, obviously, you don't think about this intuitively. There's a front camera and it looks like you can clean it off, that little button right there. The Model Y does not have a front camera. That's super, super useful, especially as we were pulling into this front pull-in charger, and you can't really tell. If he looks in the mirrors, you can tell this isn't a back-end Tesla supercharger. So with the Cybertruck, I was like, they had to have made the spot big enough for this thing to fit in. It's a lot closer than you realize pulling in. It seems like it fits pretty well right now that we're in here. But this thing is just massive. I've driven F-150s. We had big trucks run up. It's been a while since I've driven them consistently, but it's incredibly smooth. Couple things, this one's the dual motor, so it's 0 to 60 in 4.1. It's more than fast enough still at that. Its range is about 322 miles is what it says. Right now it's at 70%, about 222 miles. So my guess is right now with the heat, current driving conditions, we're not gonna be getting no 322 miles. We're gonna close the tonneau cover really fast, and I can tell you what I'm talking about with this. So it closes. If you see in the back, it actually puts up a little, whatever, black film of some sort, like, so you can't see out. And then, oh, I just saw what was happening. Did you see what happened there? So that's where the tonneau cover is going in. So when it's going down, it's blocking your view. I thought it actually had a temporary film, but you can see just the back there still. It's just the cover is moving and blocking the window. So that means there's no way they're ever gonna be able, that window doesn't slide down at all. And it's not gonna be with that current setup. So that's interesting. So quick thoughts and feedback. Steering wheel, of the 5 things I'd say that would need to be fixed. Steering wheel, give me a regular option, right? I know the yoke had, at first it was just the yoke on the Model S, Model X. They eventually gave you a regular steering wheel. I think that's gonna be needed. I think that most people, even though this is cool in concept, it's such a, don't break something that's not broken, right? Everyone is used to a normal steering wheel. Give us the optionality. This is such a freaking small rear view mirror. Doesn't make any sense actually. Like, it feels like disingenuous, like they were trying to use a really cheap part almost, to be honest. Yeah, like listen to that squeakiness of the plastic. This needs to be a camera also. Take this out, move this right here. I'm surprised it actually wasn't thought of in the actual build of the car. I think this is interesting, having this hill right here. My guess is this is part of the exoskeleton frame. It makes it so sturdy. It's kind of a weird spot because like I'm not that tall, you know, I'm 6'6", right? Ish, give or take 6 inches. And I'm already hitting my head. So I could also put the seat down a little bit, but that's not much space. This is like the Model X in terms of how this magnetic piece reaches back, but like, I mean, like, look at this. This doesn't even hit that. So there's some weird things. I never enjoyed the Model X visors that like cut across the window at all. What else? This, I kind of actually do like this. At first I was telling Andrew, I don't think this is a great spot for the charger. But there's not, I mean, the way they designed this, there's not like a spot underneath the B here. I think that makes a lot of sense actually. And what else? And there's not much, you're not thinking, I'm not trying to be super nitpicky here, but overall, I mean, this is obviously, I think, a car most people want, and there's not that many things wrong with it. I think it looks like he already had the recall done. If you see that screw on there, that's because that was sliding off. That was the first big recall. People were saying that the front pedal was not fully attached. So that's a great fix, just put a screw in it. Yeah, I think the build quality is nice. This is a little plasticky for me. I would think on a $100,000 truck, you might have some like more higher end materials. The reason why I'm not a huge fan of all the plasticky materials is that it shows scratches very easily. I like that this is leather and these are ventilated seats. So yeah, if there was 5 things I could work on, it'd be easily this, steering wheel, probably some of the build quality of the plastics. Let's give me some like nice finishes, maybe give me some wood options instead of this white. Oh, this is leather. I actually didn't realize that. And the 4th thing, I think a truck or just any large SUV should always have this, and it should be soft closed doors. You kind of shut this door kind of hard, the windows roll up and down. Give me an option for it to be nice and like make it feel plush. And the 5th thing, and I think all Teslas should have this in the future, is like my Audi SQ7 had this. Just give me a shade option. Like, just give me one click button that moves the shade, blocks off the sun, especially when you live in climates like LA, Houston, Miami, Phoenix. Like, we don't need to be baked in every single Tesla we're driving because we have a massive roof that's made out of glass. So that's the 5 things. Overall, obviously, we love this truck. Just the raw attention you get from this vehicle is just absurd. Like, there's some guy right on the bike, I guarantee you 100% chance he's gonna be checking the car out. And he is, right there, checking the car out. It's 100% chance some guy rolling on the bike is gonna give you a thumbs up. That is about it. We did the exterior, we did the inside. Overall impression of this car is I would be buying it. I'm not gonna be buying it over market price. I would just place my order and wait the 6 months, the year, but I would not be paying $50,000 over sticker for this truck right now. They're producing an FOM that's gonna balance out really quickly. And next year you're gonna have a $70-ish thousand dual motor Cybertruck in your lot without having to pay $100,000. Appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Check out our other video here we have on the Model 3 Highland above. If you have any questions, hit us in the comments.